Study Session 2. Characteristics of a good test and conditions for use of tests. Introduction. In this lecture, we shall study the characteristics of a good test, otherwise referred to as the qualities of a good test. In addition, the conditions that are required to be met for a psychological test to be used will be discussed. Characteristics of a good test. The characteristics of a good test are the basic elements to look for when judging the quality of a psychological test. These qualities include test objectivity, reliability, validity, standardization, and test as a measure of sample of behavior. Test objectivity. The objectivity of a test is achieved when the administration, scoring, and interpretation of the test are not based on the individual subjectivity of the test administrator. Rather, anyone could administer the test to the same person and similar results obtained. When the same test is administered to the same person by different testers and different results are obtained, it implies the test is not objective but subjective. A test is also considered objective when, if administered to a single individual on different occasions, the same result is obtained. To ensure the objectivity of a test, therefore, the test developer must establish the reliability and validity of the test. Test reliability. Reliability is a measure of the test consistency. A useful test is consistent over time. As an analogy, think of a bathroom scale. If it gives you one weight the first time you step on it, and a different weight when you step on it a moment later, it is not reliable. Similarly, if an IQ test yields a score of 90 for an individual today and 135 next week, it is not reliable. Reliability also can be a measure of a test's internal consistency. All of the items, questions on a test should be measuring the same thing. From a statistical standpoint, the items should correlate with each other. Good tests have reliability coefficients which range from as low as 65 to above 90. The theoretical maximum is 1.00. Test validity. Validity is a measure of a test's usefulness. Scores on the test should be related to some other behavior, reflective of personality, ability, or interest. For instance, a person who scores high on an IQ test would be expected to do well in school or on jobs requiring intelligence. A person who scores high on a scale of depression should be diagnosed as depressed by mental health professionals who assess him. A validity coefficient reflects the degree to which such relationships exist. Test standardization. Another concept in the definition of a psychological test is standardization, which implies uniformity of procedure in the administration and scoring of the test. If individuals are to be compared on any psychological variable, and such comparisons are to be made with reference to their scores on a test measuring the variable, then all other factors should be held constant except the factor being measured. Constancy is maintained in this context when uniformity of testing condition is ensured. The test developer maintains uniformity of procedure by providing detailed directions for administering, scoring, and interpreting performance on the test. This is made possible by accompanying any psychological test with test manual containing detailed direction on administration and scoring of the test, as well as the interpretation of the scores. Standardized tests are administered under uniform conditions, that is, no matter where, when, by whom, or to whom it is given, the test is administered in a similar way. Scored objectively, that is, the procedures for scoring the test are specified in detail so that any number of trained scorers will arrive at the same score for the same set of responses. So, for example, questions that need subjective evaluation, e.g., essay questions, are generally not included in standardized tests. Designed to measure relative performance, that is, they are not designed to measure absolute ability on a task. In order to measure relative performance, standardized tests are interpreted with reference to a comparable group of people, the standardization or normative sample. Test norm. The establishment of test norms is another important step in the standardization of a test. A norm is a specified standard for judging or interpreting a test taker's performance in a test. Test norm serves as a frame of reference on the basis of which test results can be evaluated. Thus, psychological tests have no predetermined standards of passing or failing. Conditions for good test use. Good test use requires 1. Comprehensive assessment using history and test scores. 2. Acceptance of the responsibility for proper test use. 3. Consideration of the standard error of measurement and other psychometric knowledge. 4. Maintaining integrity of test results, such as the correct use of cut-off scores. 5. Accurate scoring. 6. Appropriate use of norms. 7. Willingness to provide interpretive feedback and guidance to test takers. End of study session 2. Thanks for listening.